at all?
Well,
I'm not saying just us, but anyone in particular.
Sounds what's like going on Twitter? Right, someone inform us. Richard, can you be across this, please?
I heard 9 o'clock. We need to go past 9 o'clock then.
Okay, we're good. Okay. I'm making an executive decision as the founder of the podcast that we will be going long today if a signing is about to happen. Right. Okay. On Joe Fair's say-so then, I'm going to ask David Diamond, what do you think about the arrival of Chuba Akpom to Ipswich Town? Start your clip there, Rich, yeah?
Yeah, Championship, obviously very much proven at this level for Borough and others. Championship, experience. Went to being obviously experienced at Ajax, top team over in the Netherlands. Got goals in him, physicality. Seeing more of not a 9 though necessarily. Seeing more of perhaps slightly withdrawn, maybe more of a 10 Akpom. But just what we need really. Further experience through the door, and just going to add strength and quality to the squad, isn't it? And that's exactly what we need. Good signing.
Yeah, Joe, talk to me about Chuba. Yeah.
The club is excited to announce the signing of striker Chuba Akpom on a season-long loan from Ajax. I was really excited when I heard of the interest. I'm delighted to have joined the club with such big ambitions.
Can't wait to get started.
I watch a lot of football and I've always thought it would suit my style, so this move makes perfect sense. Lots of good experience over the last few years at Ajax and playing in the Champions League with Lille, and I feel like all of these have improved me as a player and helped me be the person I am now. So I think one of the key things which will be all over on your sort of Championship side is that Middlesbrough team under Michael Carrick, where he came in quite late in the season and they were the best team in the league until the end of it and just lost in the playoffs. He scored something like 28 goals in 34 starts in the league.
So we've now got, Joe, 2 of the last 3 Golden Boot winners in our squad.
Hopefully by the end of the season it'll be 3 or 4.
Are we signing Pirro as well, are we?
No, we'll leave him out.
George.
And so he was a 10. It was sort of him and Cameron Archer were almost playing as sort of Cameron Archer was a 9 and he was he was the one off it, sort of similar how Sammy Smolix has been playing with that. So maybe that will free up Nathan Broadhead's move to go ahead now, if Philogene injury isn't too bad, or Amari Hutchinson or someone else. But yeah, this is one we've obviously wanted for a long time. A really good player at this level, and who's proven at this level, gone away, done well. He's going to come in. He'll know all about Kieran McKenna from Michael Carrick. So it's just another one through the door and good signing.
From up the road as well, isn't he? East London, I think.
Yeah,
East
like
London
Ewan,
boy,
isn't he?
Yeah.
What's your take then on the depth then, Dave, in respects of, so Hurst, I suppose it's quite a clever signing in respects of Hurst is definitely a number 9 and you don't really want him to be playing number 10. Smolix can do both but seems to prefer the 10. Akpom can do both but seems to prefer the 10. So do you see it like that there's 3 players there? And I mean, I haven't talked about Chaplin there, and I'm sure Broadhead and Hutchinson might be moot points. But do you see the depth being like that in terms of goal scoring?
Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly loads of goals there. And do you think perhaps that might now hurry along? Maybe, but I hate to say it, Ben, I know you love the goal. We all do. Broadhead's, departure, perhaps. Do you think perhaps that is a bit of a catalyst for that potentially?
Well, Dave, it was the question I just asked Joe. Deals on the table, all ready to go. Yeah. I'll say to the chat now, go and head over to the Wrexham Twitter.
Absolutely. And
do you know what I mean?
I think I had a chat before with Joe off air that Akpom, I don't think it was any, given what we understand, that perhaps we were first alerted to Akpom's availability. Maybe that's not true by the fact that he was very much on Birmingham's hit list, and seemingly we gatecrashed the deal. Whether that's correct or not, I don't know. Seemingly gatecrashed the deal. Perhaps no surprise that he wasn't announced before the game on Friday. So, yeah, just a good signing, great, and hopefully the first of a few in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, right. Just too complicated to get done before Friday, given that Middlesbrough are in as well, Joe.
Yeah, but potentially we'll never know. I'm sure they'll say they've done it as quickly as they can. I'm sure they have done it as quickly as they can. So it's one of those. But I think when you look back at the League One season that we had, and our sort of striking options there were ended up sort of like George Hurst and Freddie Ladapo as 2 9s rotating. And we also had like Tyrese John Jules there who could play as that 9, but could also play in any of the 2 or 3 behind the strike as well. So I think maybe Chuba Akpom also fits into that role as well. So he can effectively be a backup 9 or a rotation 9 plus a starting 10, which probably helps us because we've only got 25 to play with. Last year we had 27 because Liam Delap and Amari Hutchison were under 21. So we were able to get that extra couple of bodies in the squad, where now we're going to need a little bit more versatility to cover that. So I think Chuba Akpom's really, really good in that regard, and he probably will know how we play. I still think you've got Ali Al-Hamidi, who I thought did well actually on Friday. I know he had a couple of slips, but I thought he showed good intensity, got up and down the line well, made a little bit of a difference, made things happen. But I think it now frees you up to maybe lose Ali and replace him with a sort of real top-end 9. If you can get Ivanovic out of Millwall, for example, and have Ivanovic and Hurst as a 2 9s, and then Akpom as a third one if you need him, but can be a 10 as well, where we normally end up sort of with lots of options.
And also, I think it showed a bit on Friday. Akpom will give us a bit more physicality as well, won't he? Definitely in that role.
Yeah, as in definitely. Over Smodics.
But similar. So with Smodics, isn't there?
Smodics has got good physicality in terms of pressing.
Yeah. But I think Akpom.
Talking about size.
Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, size and presence, really. Yeah. Yeah,
understood. So, Dave, what is your take on the kind of structuring of it? Joe, am I right? Is there anything said? So it's a loan. Is there a obligation or an option to buy it?
It hasn't mentioned it on the Ipswich website, but they never tend to. So you'll need to see what effectively the super journos, the Ornsteins and those guys are saying about this deal. But it seemed to have been agreed that there was going to be an obligation fee of €7 million if we do go up.
What's your take on? I mean, we've had this discussion a few times, Dave. Just get promoted. Worry about the league you're in. Do you know what I mean?
Ben, exactly right. And just get promoted first, and let everything just take care of it. Take care of itself. That's all you can. That's how you deal with it, isn't it?
And I think there's a talk, like, because obviously we've got Cedric Keepray and Jens Kajust in the same position. So we're now going to have 3 players on loan when we're only allowed 5. So that does hamstring us a little bit in that regard for it. But it also means if we don't get promoted this season, you've only got one more year. You've only got one more year of parachute payments, haven't you?
Sorry to interrupt, Joe. What's the obligation on Kajust if we get promoted? Do you know what the amount is?
It's €6.5 million.
Yeah, similar.
So I think that's the thing that bothered me, Joe, when Burnley went up, and all of a sudden you read the numbers, and they were having to pay €30 million just to obligations on Jadon Anthony and Marcus Edwards, and I think there was another. Who's the left back, Joe, from Chelsea?
Bashir Humphreys.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of thought, oh God, is that a bit of spend mortgaged too early? But I've just said to Dave,
if the 3R what they report, if the 3R as they report, it's I think it's about €15 million for 3 players there. It's not a lot of money. It's 12 million quid. That's one of the signings we made this year, and they will have value that you could just flip them straight away if you wanted to. If they weren't the right player, if they hadn't settled correctly, you probably could just move them straight on and move them out on loan and get it covered up. But I think it's good because if we don't go up this year, next year will be a year 2 parachute club, but that'll be our last year of parachute payment. So you can just sort of send them all back and plan for the next season that way without having these guys on 3-4 year contracts on big money.
Yeah, fair comment. Dave, talk to me about preferred front 4s, and I'll let you discard Mr. Broadhead and Mr. Hutchinson. What do you like? I know you can argue, try this in this game, and depending on this opposition, do this. But who was it? Ian Wright. I remember Ian Wright always arguing with Kelly Cates on 606. No. You have your best 11. If you had a cup final tomorrow, every manager knows what's my best 11. What do you like for a front 4, Dave?
Well, I suppose to fit and fine, you've got Hurst up top. Hurst is going to be the focal point this season, and he's clearly up for it. And fingers crossed, wood touch. Let's hope he has a great season. No, if he stays injury free, should be absolutely superb. I mean, look, you pay 20 million. What we paid 20 million for Philogene. You really want Jack Clark to come good, and I'm sure he will. Joe said at the start of the show he got swallowed up on Friday, didn't he? I think he wasn't alone in that. And it's just going to be who plays in that role, a Smolix and Akpom or the Chaplin. Chaplin done, I thought, brilliantly when he came off brilliantly, much better. We looked much better when Chaplin came off. He gives you that balance. He came off the bench the other night. So yeah, it's going to be, as you said, that sort of 10 role is going to be the one that's going to be, I guess, the one up for the most competition, especially if Broadhead goes. But again, depends who else we get in, of course.
Can I play devil's advocate with you, David, quickly before I go to Joe? I'm just doing some very quick maths. Akpom and Archer in 62 appearances for Middlesbrough together got 47 goal contributions between them. So, and I've just said they're 2 Golden Boot winners. I know you like your focal point. I know you like your George Hurst up there, but is there any reality? I'm just throwing it out there. Is there any reality in Akpom and Smolix?
I don't think so. No. I think McKenna's got total trust in Hurst, and I just don't see it. I think Hurst leads the line this season if he's fit if he's fit and firing, he leads the line, no questions this season. Okay. He's not going to change that, I don't think.
So I'm going to go all Jim White here, and I'll now play devil's advocate with you, Joe, because you very wisely once on the pod said, no, you don't want to sign Cole Stockton because look at the trend of his career, and that one season is a big outlier. And I can see that with my own eyes. Is Chuba Akpom's season in the Championship of Middlesbrough a big outlier?
Well, it is a big outlier. There's no getting away from that. But when you're talking 28 goals in 34 starts, it's a ludicrous outlier. But
it's a Daryl Murphy 14-15 outlier.
If you get 17 goals in 34 starts, that's a really, really good return. So he's not going to score 30 goals a season. He's not going to score at that rate. But if you can get a good amount of goals out of him, and I think we will, he knows how this team plays because it's very, very similar to how that Middlesbrough side played under Michael Carrick there. So yeah, so it's a really, really exciting sign in that regard. But I guess one person you might worry about is Connor Chaplin. What role is he going to play here? If you've got Sammy Smolix playing the 10, now Chuba Akpom playing in that sort of central 10, where does that leave Connor Chaplin, who we all thought did well at the weekend, did well on Friday? Is Connor Chaplin going to want to stay if he's going to be relegated a spot further down in that role? He's got massive professional pride. He'll want to be playing week in, week out. So I know there's talk of Broadhead, talk for Murray, but yeah, I'd worry about Chaplin now.
Just before Dave comes back on that, sorry, Dave, in the chat, get your reactions in. I want to know your thoughts on Akpom arriving. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's quite right about Chaplin. It would just be sad to see. I mean, look, football evolves, as we know, season, month to month, let alone season upon season. But if it did and that did happen, it'd just be sad to see Chaplin go. And also Broadhead would most likely will go. Just 2 more from that, from that League One side. Really, really, really sad. Just one question I had. I can't recall. Where did that Middlesbrough team? What happened to that Middlesbrough? Did they lose in the playoffs that season?
Yeah. So Joe's right. They were excellent. So Burnley got 100 points and won it. Sheffield United kind of bullied their way into second place. And I totally agree with Joe. From the point Carrick came in October, November, they played beautiful vertical attacking football, but playoff tournament football, as you hear me like a bloody broken record every year, Mark Robbins outdid Michael Carrick, who'd only been managing for 3/4 of a season. And he literally sat there and said, right, I've got 9 players to stop you scoring, and I've got Hamer and Gyökeres. And they drew 0-0. Yeah. And then Gyökeres set up Hamer in the and they won the away game. So yeah, he just didn't quite remember when we would Burley would lose to Howard Kendall and then Alan Kirbishley and then Colin Todd or whoever. It kind of that's what happened. And we could be sat here though. I don't know if you agree with this, Joe. We could be sat here in a reality if they'd just won that semi-final. I mean, hey, maybe they'd have got Luton in the final, whereby Michael Carrick is still in the Premier League with Middlesbrough. If you just that sliding doors moment. Although the Borough fans were not impressed with his work last season. Let's just say. Right, plenty of comments in the chat here. Sam there. Let's have that one again, please, Rich. Sorry, mate. I think this will be the best signing this summer for us. You think there's any mileage in that in terms of impact there, Joe?
Well, I think we need the best signing of the summer to be Azor Matasiwa, because he's got such big boots to fill. And if we're sitting here in 8 months and saying he was the best signing of the summer, then we've probably got promoted well, because he's totally dominated that midfield. But I just think there'll be a couple of big ones still to come, because we haven't spent a huge amount yet, but we know there's money there to spend if we want to. But I still think people will be surprised at the level of targets we're going for. And as it gets nearer to the end of the window, we'll get a couple of them over the line.
Ben, just quickly, on that Middlesbrough side, would that have been Hackney's breakthrough season or not?
Do you know what? It was. And Chris Wilder and Joe, who was the assistant? The guy from the Northeast with the funny foreign-sounding name, but and then he took the team before Carrick came. Wilder picked him, and then someone will tell me in the chat who took Borough between Wilder and Carrick. It's a northeastern bloke who's got a foreign-sounding name. I think he's a goalkeeping coach. And yeah, that was when he broke through. But then, of course, Michael Carrick was such a beautiful central midfielder that he gets all the credit. But Wilder actually brought him through. Speaking of ex-Middlesbrough managers, Joe, you didn't happen to catch Neil Warnock deliberately say a couple of times in an interview with Natalie Sawyer the other day, oh, well, Ipswich are going for Akpom and I had him at Borough, and thank you, Rich, and Leo Perkovic, yeah. So then he started him in the caretaker reign, if memory serves. Oh yeah, I didn't fancy Akpom. So Warnock didn't get on with him, Joe.
Yeah, well, I think Carrick's relationship is more important than Neil Warnock's relationship with him, with regards to see what Kieran McKenna will get out of him, because Kieran McKenna, like I say, we know him and Michael Carrick are very close, so he'll know everything there is to know about him from that side of it there. And yeah, Neil Warnock, I'm sure there's a lot of players that he hasn't got the best out of, but there's obviously a huge number of players that he has got the best out of. But I don't think there's any middle line for him. He probably doesn't have time to, if he doesn't think you're going to work for him, he's just going to bin you off and get someone else in to replace him, which he probably wanted to do with Chuba Akpom, which he didn't want to do with Sam Morsey, but was forced to at that point to let him come to us. So I think at sort of most of Warnock's reign at Millwall, I think he was quite frustrated by who he had to keep and who he had to sell.
Middlesbrough, you said Millwall there.
At Middlesbrough, yeah, sorry.
He had that. Is it Keith Scott or Kevin Scott doing all the transfers above his head? I think.
Yeah, Kieran Scott.
Kieran, thank you. Keith, Kevin, Kieran, Chris, whoever. Dave Norman says, with Akpom in, does that mean that's a fair question, isn't it? Because I said to Joe 20 minutes ago, what is holding up all these deals? Could you now literally just, I'm sure people have asked and mentioned it, could you now literally in the next 24 hours, could we be on here talking emergency pod lights up, Hutchinson's gone and Broadhead? I mean, Broadhead seems further on, doesn't it?
Broadhead does seem further on, but you've got to think if Forest come in with, if it is Forest and they come in with something circa 40 million, then he's gone, isn't he? Of course he's gone. Yeah. And look, McKenna always comes across as a sort of honest guy, you know, throat infection. Ooh, I don't know. Just seems far too convenient, doesn't it? So you would think there was a bit of protecting the asset there. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
If the professor says he's got a throat infection, Dave,
well,
he's got a throat infection.
I did see him down at the chemist earlier today, actually.
See? Did he have it?
I hate going to the chemist. I always feel like I'm in trouble. I've done something wrong. I haven't bought the right thing. I'm always collecting something from my missus as well. And I don't know. I feel yeah,
had a COVID mask on.
Did you see him walk out with a family pack of Strepsils, Joe? Or anything like
that? A big box of them, yeah.
It's a bit like going to the chemist. You kind of don't quite know what you're supposed to do. And you always get admonished by somebody, don't you?
Yeah. If you're waiting for a prescription, it's over there. Not here. It's over there.
There it is.
The thing is with Hutchinson, I do think the club, with the lapse release clause, they do need to show that they're not a soft touch on transfers as well.
Yeah,
we were sort of put into a corner with that Delap transfer that we had to sell him for much under his market value. We're not going to allow clubs to think that they can do that to us just because we sold Delap cheap, that they'll get Amari cheap. He's going to cost what he's going to cost, and if people aren't going to pay it, then we'll happily welcome him back into the fold.
What did I put up there, Joe? This is from FPL Tracked. I think our first... Why can't I read tonight? It's been a long day. think our current first choice front four, to be fair, that one was difficult as well, wasn't it? Is Hurst, Philogene, Akpom, Ogbene, Joe?
I'd hope that we'd end up, well, Hurst, at the moment, I'd probably say Hurst, Philogene, Smodics or Akpom and Hutchinson on the right, isn't it? While he's still here, he is going to be. I just don't. I think the way we're going to play this year, with how possession dominant we're going to be, I don't think that Ogbene is the greatest fit for it. I think it's going to take quite a while for Ogbene to get right up to speed. But is he going to be really good in those sort of little 1v1 battles when he's got a man standing up and he's sort of standing short in front of him and he's got to make a move? I don't know if he's got that to his game. He's very much the one with a Connor Chaplin turning the ball in, but sort of round the corner behind the left back for him to run onto it. And I don't know if there's going to be a huge amount of space for that. So I'm interested to see how Ogbene plays out this year.
Ben, tell us that Jack Clark's going to come good, isn't he? At this level, come on, surely.
I do agree with. I'm agreeing with Joe far too much tonight, apart from the Kyogo and Greaves thing. But I do agree with him that this is a far more balanced team than Jack Clark had at Sunderland.
Yeah.
In that he was the main guy, switched the play to him. And the other time I've really seen Jack Clark at it, Bielsa was his manager and Pablo Hernandez was 20 metres away from him, which kind of attracts about 50 players towards him. And then, okay, the loan to Sunderland in League One, yeah, fine. But he went on loan to QPR. People forget that. And
forgot that.
Yeah, after he'd gone to Spurs, he went to Spurs for a load of money. So it's been up and down. And a lot of the Leeds fans used to tell me about Clark. Do you remember? I think he possibly collapsed or something on the bench for Leeds up at Middlesbrough. And a lot of the Leeds fans said, "Oh, he's never quite right at Leeds." I mean, obviously he regained.
He didn't really play again after that for Leeds.
No, yeah, he didn't. And you know what Bielsa was like once he got in an idea in his head, he just doubled and trebled down. And then they had to sell him just to basically keep Calvin Effin Phillips the next season and to get Ben White and get promoted, basically. So
he went to Spurs, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he go to Spurs? Yeah.
It's a great deal for Leeds, to be fair. Where was I going? Sorry. So you'd hope so, Dave. It's not a guarantee.
I mean, here's the thing: do we do a 180? Would it be surprised if someone came in with a cheeky bid for him and he?
Oh, it'd only be going back to Sunderland or Leeds, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
surely.
Yeah, because I'm in a sort of another group chat with a lot of Sunderland fans. They're like, "Oh, you're just not getting the best out of him. You need to play him on the left, get him tight to touchline, give him space." And I think, well, we did that with Philogene all through pre-season, and the space is there, but you can't just. He's got to earn that spot in the team, and sort of basically picking up the ball and losing it every time, which he did on Friday. You're not going to get a space in the team. And I wouldn't play him. I thought him and Ben Johnson, both of them, I thought were very, very poor on Friday, and didn't sort of have anything that would make me want to start them again anytime soon.
Yeah. Keep your questions coming. We are, because I'm very OCD ridden, we're going to go till 9:30. So we're going to do another 5 minutes here on the announcement that Chuba Akpom, Championship Golden Boot winner in the 22-23 season, former Ajax, Lille, PAOK Thessaloniki, Arsenal, I've heard of them, Brighton, Hull, Forest, Coventry's been here, there and everywhere, online player, has joined Ipswich Town on a loan until the end of the season with, we think, what was the number, Joe? €7 million?
7 million. TWTD has it at £7 million, but
£7 million. Okay. With an obligation then at the end of the season. Get your comments in on Akpom's role. Get your questions in for Dave and Joe. Dave, I've got a bit of a horrible one for you. Would you rather predict how many goals Akpom's going to score, how many games he's going to start out of the remaining 45? But seriously, the guys are struggling to piece together, and you were very firm on your answer to me that no, Hurst is number 9, and then it's someone else around there. So does that mean he actually, out of 45, starts that many? And if he hasn't had a pre-season as well, maybe he's not going to start for a couple of weeks?
No, maybe not. But as Joe said, if someone like him, who has been, albeit the one great season at that level, if someone like him can chip in with 10, so say 10 goals even, and you share other goals around, we're going to be thereabouts, aren't we? He's going to have an impact. It's a good signing. It basically improves, as it stands, it basically improves the depth of the squad, is what we need. And it leaves McKenna with a nice well, at this moment in time, quite a big dilemma with Hutchinson still there and Broadhead still there, but as we know, they're not likely to be. But yeah, a nice dilemma to have at this moment in time. But we still need 2 or 3 others through the door as well.
Yes, and also just looking back at his stats for the last few seasons, so sort of like 21-22, he went to PAOK in the Greek league and across the Conference League and the Greek Championship, scored 9 goals in 27 starts. Then the following year at Middlesbrough was 29 goals in 36 starts across all competitions. Then went to Ajax, and first season there was 14 goals in 10 starts, but obviously a huge amount more sub minutes than that. But really, his whole time at Ajax, it was the equivalent of like 30, like 50, like basically a goal a game all per 90 minutes. But he obviously didn't play a huge amount, because if you score a goal a game but you only start 10 and you come on as sub and you have 25 games, there's obviously a reason for that. And then at Lille last year, it was 3 goals in 6 starts, but 8, 9, 10 sub appearances, and then 4 goals for Ajax in the first half of the season in 10 starts and 14 sub appearances. So his goal record has held up at Ajax and at Lille, but he hasn't played a huge amount there. So it does make you sort of, the concern would be about his all-round game and what he's bringing there. Because why, if he's scoring goals at a decent tick still, is he not playing? And like I say, I know a couple of people who are Ajax fans, and they say their main thing that they had last week was just sort of an amazement that they had 2 clubs fighting over him to come to them and sort of get their money back. So they made a really bad deal on that, effectively. They paid something like 12, 13 million quid for him, gave him a massive contract, where off the back of a fantastic championship season, and maybe he wasn't quite good enough for the sort of the levels of European football they want to play, but I think he's certainly going to be good enough for us. And if he can carry on with that goal record here, you almost don't worry about the sort of the rest of his game, do you?
I'm just looking at that season to see if I can find any patterns. Not that many doubles and hat-tricks. He scored in 23 different games. Wow. He did also score against Burnley and against Sheffield United. So he scored against the teams that finished above Middlesbrough. Oh, Luton actually finished 3rd that season, didn't they? I think Borough were 4th and Luton snuck into 3rd right at the end. There's a run at the end of the season, Dave, where he scores 15 goals in 15 games.
Yeah, that'll do. I mean,
and he scores sorry, Dave, and he scores in 13 out of the 15 games as well.
I have to confess, I can't recall many of his goals. Can you remember many of his goals? Are these box goals? Are these poacher goals? Are these in the box, outside the box, header, all sorts?
Yes, he scored against Norwich, to that question.
It's a bit of everything, Dave, isn't it? When you score that many goals, you have to score.
It must be, yeah, it has to be.
Goals, don't you? Yeah. And if you watch, there is a, I guess Henry helped put together, but on the Sky transfer page, there was a video. There is a YouTube Sky video, all Akpom's goals from this season, and it is a total mix, but it's worth watching that too.
And on the other side of that, Ben, assists as well.
I think there was only a couple in there. I think, sorry, let me just get football, but I think there was only 2 assists in there, but he linked up. I could be wrong about that, actually. Sorry, let me just check that again.
2 assists in the league that year.
Yeah, he did link up very well with Cameron Archer. It was the idea that, and to be fair, not wanting to do horrible name drops, that was the season I was working at the ITV show, and I had ex-player, ex-manager telling me how good those 2 were every week with those.
Played as a pair, yeah? They play.
Well, I mean, Joe, I don't know what your take is, but it was always down, and Sean did a really good bit in our Telegram group. It was always down as Archer was the striker and Akpom was 10. But if you look at heat maps, it was pretty fluid, Joe. Is that what Sean?
Well, I think Archer's was always higher than him. So Archer was the focal point, but I guess he's the one laying it off.
He's the runner in behind, isn't he? And sorry to interrupt you, Joe. I literally just asked you a question and interrupt you. A lot of it was bringing in, they had Ramsey from Villa and Giles down. So a lot of it was, he was like the fulcrum bringing in all of those players. Yeah,
yeah, I'd say quite similar to the sort of Connor Chaplin role when he played when we were in League One, where you're dropping in, you're getting the ball, you're playing it to the wide men, and then you're the one getting on the end of the chance as well.
Unbelievable scenes, guys. We've gone really, really long because we have announced Chuba Akpom has signed for Ipswich Town. This dropped at 9 p.m. So Dave and Joe just giving their immediate reactions over this past half hour. We are going to call it quits there, but the chat will continue over on Telegram. If you're not a paid up member there, you can get a 2-week subscription. And I'm sure if you sign up for Blue Monday Top Tier, that work that Sean has done, he's going to be one of our bloggers. We'll try and get him to write that up so we can get some real good data on Akpom if you really want to know the minutiae of him being a 9 or a 10. There we go. Off the cuff for the last half hour. I suppose, does that completely change your sign off here then, Joe? What were you going to say half an hour ago to end the pod?
I don't know. I normally only think about it in the 3 seconds between you asking and me saying it, to be fair. But no. Well, I'm going to Bromley on Tuesday. It'll be a new ground for me. There's not many of those to tick off at the moment. So
do you think Mick's going to be down there? He lives that way, doesn't he?
Yeah, he might pop down and see us in the away end, sort of give us a little the thumbs up like he used to at Norwich away. Till we go from there. No, but I'm looking forward, and obviously this adds an element of who's going to play, and it was always going to be. I think it's going to be difficult for us to do what we normally do there, which is change all 11 players. So it'll be interesting to see what team we put out there now, and hopefully get a win and get another tie ahead of us.
Unbelievable. Dave, talk to me. Your 8:59 sign off as opposed to
mate. I can say I'm feeling it. I can fit 3 weeks. I've just saw 3 weeks tonight. 31st of August, 1 minute to 9. Hayden Hackney. I'll call it now.
Will you stop it? I've spoken enough about Hayden.
Calling
Hackney
it now.
Last a bloody lifetime. Dear oh me. Thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully with no preparation or research whatsoever, we've managed to talk accurately and adequately about Chuba Akpom and his arrival. There was obviously a game on Friday, and that's how fast this stuff moves, isn't it? Joe was saying, it's done, move on from it. And then someone comes in the door and the landscape from that moment on then completely changes, and we move forward into round 2 in the remaining 45 games. Loads of great stuff for you this week. As I said, your normal free-to-air shows. You can hear from Craig and Joe on Wednesday for the news show. Rich and Seb. Actually, I think Rich corrected me. I think Seb's very selfishly having another week on holiday, so it's going to be Rich and Mikey, and then me, Dave, and Joe will be back on Sunday for the flagship. And behind the paywall, we've got Beyond the Scoreline with Oscar and Harry tomorrow. The weekend preview with Henry and George on Friday, and hopefully we'll get a blog about Chuba Akpom as well as the other ones that we're going to go up. My God, I need a rest. Hour and a half. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you for another week of wonderful Blue Monday content. Welcome, Akpom.